he loved wailing on that horn through here. He would wail on it like just one big horn blast. Man, or quilling it, you know how you could quill it on the older engines. What's up everyone, Spur here, and we're back with more Run A Train Simulator, and we're continuing our trip north from Waycross to Fitzgerald on the Q544 circa 2002. This is of course on Hyrail Simulations' amazing Fitzgerald Subdivision DLC, and this is also a route I did work on in real life from time to time as a conductor. So yes, I was a conductor in real life. I was never an engineer. I wound up actually leaving the railroad a few months before I was supposed to go to engineer school. But this is definitely a route that I am somewhat familiar with. Let's do channel 14. Get that, and let's tone the dispatcher up. Let's tone up auto so we can get a light out of here. There we go. We should be getting a light here shortly. We're going to talk to him. Going to talk to the dispatcher. There we go. Request a signal. JE dispatcher answering at Sesums. Acknowledge you're already clear. Proceed on signal indication. All right, let's go. We're good. We got a light. We'll blast off out of here. So once again, the last video, in case you didn't catch it, you can definitely go back and watch it. We started out in Waycross at Rice Yard, the huge hump yard down there. We left out the North Forwarding Yard, and we're going up the Fitzgerald northbound to Fitz on the Q544. We're going to make a crew change in Fitzgerald. Q544 is a Waycross to Cincinnati train back in the day in 2002. It usually had a little Manchester cut on the head end as far as I can remember, and then Cincinnati cars, and then it had Atlanta cut on the bottom. All right, let's go ahead and pull out of here. This is a control siding. We can exit out at 25 mile an hour. We did come in on a restricted signal. And got a medium clear on the north end. Nice. So the thing about this siding is we can come out at 25, but we do have this big sag there on the north end that you can see it there in our terrain a little bit. It looks kind of tricky. It looks like it comes back up on the other side, but I don't think it does. I think that's where it kind of flattens out a little bit. I think that's what's tricky about it. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and get it up to about 25. And let's count it off too. I'm bad about not doing that. All right, let's hit Shift F8. Let's get our milepost tags on so you guys can see where we're at and what we're doing. Hit the bell for this crossing here. And the horn. Little horn action for you. Also, last video, we just met a empty phosphate train. Empty phosphate train at Sesums, and I think we met an N-series coal train at Bowling as well too. All right, let's go ahead and come all the way out of throttle. We'll just kind of coast out of here. Let's see what our track looks like here. You guys can check that out. -1, yeah, 1% downgrade. It may go back up a little bit in the curve there. Let's set up some dynamics. Try to hold her back coming out a little bit there. These are some of the instances that I like using the dynamics. Excuse me. I like using dynamics. It gets tricky. It gets tricky at low speeds using air, right? Because your train can get kind of squatty on you. And what I mean by that is like the brakes kind of set up a little bit hard and then it wants to stop on you. Well, you've got two options. You can either just come on to a stop. Then that all goes into the whole run and release thing in the rule book. You can come to a stop, or you can kind of try to coax them along and pull on them a little bit, even though they're squatting. But the problem that you run into is that you could get a knuckle, or you could get a draw head or something if you pull on them too much, or something happens. Case in point, I remember One time I was on a train. We were coming around to a signal on a little bit of a grade. I think it was a grade at that spot there, a little uphill. And the brakes set up on the train really good, and we're stopping short of the signal, and it was around a curve, so it just wasn't coming into sight, right? And we were going to stop short. And my engineer was a young engineer, younger guy, about my age or a little older, and he decided to pull on him. And the train was squatting pretty good, like pretty good. It was wanting to stop, and he's pulling on it pretty good, pretty hard. And we had 3 SD42s. I do remember this like yesterday. We had 3 SD42s. And all of them slipped at the same time. I don't know what happened, but they all slipped. And you could feel the slack run in, and then all of a sudden they grabbed at the same time and jerked, and the air went down, and we'd gotten a knuckle. We got a knuckle 13 deep. Never forget that. That was actually the first knuckle I ever had to replace on the railroad was on that. So yeah, we were coming up to a signal. He got some air to stop. We were going to stop short, just out of view of the signal, so he's going to try to drag them around there to it. And it didn't work out. It got us. They slipped, and we got a knuckle. All right, let's go ahead. We can pull out of there. I'm talking and not paying attention. We could have started pulling them a long time ago. So yeah, using air at low speeds is really just, it's kind of tricky, right? Like it can get you, it can bite you in the butt. I've done it before. I remember engineers using air to go in, but some instances like that low speed where you kind of need to maintain your speed going downhill, it's best to just use dynamics, I think. Then you eliminate the worry about your train trying to squat on you. All right, we're going through Nichols now. You got the signal at Nichols here. Part of the original main line, part of the original late 1800s main line. That's why it's got so many ups and downs on it and stuff like that. Nice little area though. I love it. They did such a good job capturing the feel of South and Central Georgia. I really think they kind of nailed it. You know, the buildings and stuff aren't exact. You know, it's never going to be exact. The time and the undertaking of doing everything 100% one-to-one is just impossible. But, you know, to me, it's all about capturing the feel of the location, and they've most definitely done that. They've absolutely captured the feel of this part of Georgia. All right, we're going to be running back downhill again. We should be all right, though. We're just now coming up on 35. Another crossing there. So I think on this video, we'll go up a few more sidings. And then we'll call it a day. We got 2 more trains to meet. So we met the coal train at Bowling. We met the phosphate train at Sessoms. I think we've got 2 more intermodals to meet out there. I think we got 2 intermodal trains to meet. Like I said, I set this session up, like it's been a few weeks now. And so I've kind of forgot a large majority of everything that we're doing on here. I kind of know like how many we're going to meet, but I can't exactly remember what's what. So that's kind of cool though that we get that. We'll just go with it. We'll meet when Otto decides to put us in the hole or hold us somewhere. She's running pretty good for us here. Let's look at our train again real fast. We'll do a recap on that as well too. Q54412. Waycross Cincinnati is 1.9 HPT, 5,500 tons, or just a little shy of it. 29 loads, 63 empties, 386 axles. And we're just shy of 5,800 feet. So a very, very typical terrain for back then. Like absolutely a very typical terrain for back then. All right, coming by Saginaw. Let's go back to our other view here. Oops, didn't mean to do that. There we go. I like that track panel sitting over there to the side. It's really cool. That's a nice little detail. All right, so we had to clear by the south end of Saginaw. Next sighting is going to be Upton. We've got Upton and Oysterfield, and then Fitzgerald. So we're going to be meeting two trains somewhere between here and there. So like they had some rain out here. Got some water standing in the ditches there. Look at the other end here. Got to clear on the north end of Saginaw. All right. We'll keep going with it. What is that? A porta pot? Is that? Yeah, it is. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, it's open too. Nice. Probably from maintenance away, like they would bring those with them and leave them out there at locations. It probably just got left by accident. They probably just lost track of it. Done left the porta pot out there. All right, still got us to clear CSX Q5 4412. Got to clear North Saginaw 6475 north outs. We'll keep rolling along. Bars are great through here. It undulates a lot. There's nothing like too terribly major. We may have to grab a little air here on the north end. We'll see. We'll come out of the throttle a little bit early here. I think around this curve here might be a spot. We'll see what she does. Like she's actually coming back up. No little knot here. It may be on around the curve there. I thought there was a spot that we might have to grab some air. That was a nice sag there. It's like we talked about in the previous videos. They didn't put a lot of money into this back when they did this in the late 1800s. Plus they just didn't have the equipment. There we go, it's a greaser mat. I've seen people ask about those before. What are those black things on the track? They're just mats. They're mats that they put down underneath the rail greasers to make the EPA happy. I guess keep the grease from like going down into the ground. It used to not be that way. Of course, it used to just be dressed directly on the ballast, but times have changed. But yeah, the whole way they constructed this line really changed a lot. And I remember I found a chart showing the ballast of the line in 1911, and like this stretch through here I think was just basically on the ground. Like it was literally just on the sand. It's kind of sandy down here. So it was basically just on the ground. There was a lot of stretches of the original main line, the Waycross airline main line, where it didn't have ballast. It was literally just ties on the ground. It was also light rail as well too. I think so. I think it was a lighter rail. Then later on, when they did start ballasting, they used cinders. They used cinders for ballast. I remember seeing the cinder ballast when I was a kid. They had regular ballast, like the cinder ballast was up under the regular ballast, but you could kind of see it on the shoulders where it was at eventually. Man, I thought there was a spot back there that was going to run us fast. You see, Spur doesn't, like, I don't know it perfectly, that's for sure. I could have swore there was a spot back there that was going to run us fast, but like I said, it's been a long time. Ah, it's right here. This is the spot. Okay. This is the spot right here in this curve. Okay. Let's grab a little air. Let's get 10. We'll get 10 so we don't have to worry about stuck brakes. They got a whistle post for this bridge here. That wasn't a thing for us. I don't ever remember any whistle posts for bridges on the entire line from the whole, like, any of it. Any of it. Almost the 500 miles of track that I covered, we didn't have whistle posts for bridges and stuff. It really didn't, honestly didn't blow for them. Like, some guys blew for the tunnel, maybe some of the really big bridges that we had, but for the most part, it wasn't a thing. That's why throttle out. Yeah, that's the one sag you might have to do a little something for right there. All right, here's a Saginaw DD. I don't know what I was thinking about that place back there.
ESX. Equipment. Defect. Detector. Milepost. 6-2.
We did turn auto on, right? Yeah, I know we did because we talked to him. We absolutely did. I think we're probably going to have a meet at Upton. Probably Upton and Ozerfield. We'll see. How far in? We're about 21 minutes in. Both those intermodals were right around Fitzgerald when we started out, so probably Upton and Ozerfield. Saginaw back there, we went through the siding. I was trying to think of anything about that place that stood out to me, and honestly, I can't think of anything. I couldn't even tell you if I've been in the hole there. I probably have. Just nothing about it really stands out, other than the fact that back there we had a stretch where the highway kind of ran alongside the tracks, and I remember there used to be a big microwave tower over there on the right. Big, tall one, a really tall microwave tower. Old school microwave tower with the horns on it and everything, you know? I remember that, and there was another one down in Waycross too. There's actually one in Waycross, pretty good landmark. But that's honestly all I remember about Saginaw. It really just doesn't stand out. Doesn't stand out in my mind.
ESX. Equipment. Defect. Detector. Milepost. 6-2-4. Point. 0. No defects. Total axle. 3-8-6. End of transmission.
All right, we're good on the DD. No defects. Like I said, in real life, we had speed and train length too. I remember that. It's the thing about the DDs, when they gave speed, they kind of tell on you a little bit. If someone was running a little hot, you know, it may say speed 5.5 or something, you know. Someone a little heavy-handed on the throttle. I remember when I was cubbing, one of the first jobs that I ever cubbed was a local. And we got busted running a single light engine at 45 over a DD where it should have been 30, but we were doing 45. Nothing came of it. The train master, he heard us. And he asked, you know, how many engines y'all got today? I said, 1. And he was like, well, how fast are you supposed to be going? Yeah, oh, yeah, we know. We know. It's just poor little stretch, though. It was just a little ways, and I don't even think we went across any road crossings there. I can't remember, to be honest. But, yeah, the DDs with speed would tell on you. All right, we got to clear by trailer park. Definitely remember this spot. Nice little scene on the railroad here. All right, come out, throw a little bit for this sag here. Looks like we go down in the curve and then right back up. That's the cool thing about it. You can kind of look and see. Oh, we should be coming into Douglas. All right, wipe throttle back to 8. Douglas, Georgia. Douglas was always a fun spot. Yeah, I think we're coming into Douglas now. I think this is Douglas. The outskirts. Some little ties out beside the tracks there. I love the water in the ditch. That's a nice little detail. Yeah, Douglas. All right, yeah, Douglas storage track here. I think it was a siding back in the day. I used to love going through Douglas. Douglas, you can go through there. I don't think you can now. I think the speed has been significantly reduced through here, but I think per this time period, we could go through there at 60 on like an intermodal train, on a train that would do it, that we could do it. And like going through all these crossings at 60 mile an hour was crazy, just wailing on the horn, right? And you look back in your rear view mirror and just see like a cloud of dust. And, you know, buildings just right up, like everything was just kind of built up along the tracks through here. I remember coming through here on a piggyback on Q120 one time, doing 60. And man, we blew through here like no tomorrow. And I remember my engineer was an old school engineer. He's an old head. Had a lot of years under his belt. He was Cuban. He's from Cuba. And thick, heavy Cuban accent too. Man, I loved working with him. He was such a blast. And he loved wailing on that horn through here. He would wail on it like just one big horn blast. Man, or quilling it, you know how you could quill it on the older engines. Oh, that was a lot of fun. That was good times. It's definitely a lot of crossings. Can't do 60 though. We can't even do 50 through here. All right, there we go. I think we're done for now. Yeah, he used to love going through Douglas. And I want to say now, like current times, the speed is lower through there. I think they lowered it down. All right, well, we got to be getting close to meeting someone. We have to. We have to be getting close to meeting someone. I'd be willing to bet Upton. I just wonder, are they waiting on us in the hole, or do we need to go in, or what? Like, what's going to happen with that? I kind of have a feeling they might be waiting on us. We've seen nothing but clears. I was kind of hoping we would go in the hole there. It'd be a good stopping point for us. Be too bad. Got approach, yeah, all right. All right, we got this short block. We're running pretty good speed, so we're just gonna grab some air. Just to have like some kind of action taken, right? Like we want to definitely. Spear on down 10 pounds. I mean, it's not a terribly short block, and we saw it in plenty of time. But it's one of those deals. We're already in number 8. We're just a hair shy of 50 mile an hour. Like, by the time we came all the way out of the throttle, set up dynamics, and go into dynamics, like, you know, we would cover a good amount of distance. Let's go ahead and set up dynamics. All right, let's let go of this air. All right, nice. So we're going to hold the main for whoever we're going to meet here. That's fine. This would be a good stopping point for us. We got this little uphill here, this little knot. Yeah, there's headlights there, so they're already going to pull in. I wonder who we're going to meet. I think it's going to be an intermodal. I just can't remember who it is. We start getting down to 20, his dynamics will really start kicking in. Probably gonna have to pull over this knot here a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and come out. We'll get a little throttle, drag it on up there the rest of the way. All right, what do we got? What's it look like here? We do have a stop on the north end on the main. Alright, since we had it bunched up pretty good, we'll come out and throttle easy. He's sitting there dimmed. Is he stopped? I kind of wonder. It looks like he stopped. It looks like he stopped down there. I don't know what's up with that. We'll go on down here and figure it out. I don't know why he's not just going on in, unless they had a problem down there with the switch or the signal. Role play that out. Say he has to talk him by. Dispatcher has to talk him by. Stop indication. North end Upton. Main to siding. Switch in motor. Looking out for track conditions ahead. Yeah, let's keep pulling on down. Yeah, I think he is. I think he stopped sitting there for some reason. I don't know what's going on with that. It is AI. I mean, AI is not perfect. I've yet to play a game where there's any perfect AI. It's not, it's like the holy grail. There he is. Yeah, I don't know why he's holding back there. It's not like he's got to hold off any crossings or anything. Yeah, perfect AI is a holy grail of, of game development. Man, if someone could come up with absolute perfect AI across the board, they'd be a millionaire. Wish I could. I'd totally do it. Yeah, all right. He stopped for a second. Maybe he squatted. Maybe he grabbed some air and squatted. He's coming on in. Yeah, our speed's below 10. We can just feather these locomotive brakes and get it stopped with that. Used to see a lot of engineers doing that. I don't know if they do that now, but they used to feather the brake on and off. Kind of gather up the slack a little bit and just stop the train. You know, you would know if you could stop it with the locomotive brakes or not. There we go. Alright, we'll just ease on down there. I wonder if we got stuck brakes. We'll peek. We're gonna cheat a little bit here and see. Nah, she's good. Oh, letting her roll back a little bit there. That wasn't good. That knot got us a little bit more than what I thought it would. There we go. Let's just ease her forward a little bit here. Alright, well, it's definitely an intermodal train. Let's cut these milepost tags off so we can see a little better here. See who this is going to be. I got a -9 on the head end. Couple 40-2s. This is going to be 127. Okay, yeah, this is a Q127 Chicago to Jacksonville back in the day. He's got his Talleyrand cut on the head end here. These international containers. You'd see that from time to time. You definitely saw it on 121. I'm almost certain 127 had it too. What they'd do is they'd have a Talleyrand, like that train would be Talleyrand's and FEC's on the head end, and then like Orlando's and Tampa's on the bottom. And I remember that's the one regret I have from railroading is that I didn't take that job to Jacksonville. I stood for it a few times. I should have. I wish I had just to say I'd done it, but I remember talking to a few of the engineers that worked that job, and they told me like what was involved. And yeah, they would go down there and they would go in at they go in a ramp at Dinsmore, right? There's actually a little bit involved with that job. It wasn't just a step on, step off intermodal. So they'd go in at Dinsmore. They'd go in the ramp and they'd cut their Orlando's and their Tampas off in the yard there. Then they'd come out on the south end at Duval and they would swing to the east with the engines and the Talleyrand's and FEC's. And they'd go around Honeymoon Y. Go in at Moncrief. They would cut the Talleyrand's and FEC's off in Moncrief. And then they take the power to the house. So there's actually a little bit for an intermodal job. That was kind of a involved train, honestly. Definitely interesting and something that I've never seen replicated or recreated in Run 8. A lot of trains did that. I want to say 120 did something like that, except they would pull out of the ramp with their train and then they would stop it and they would leave on the south end of the ramp, right? And then they would pull around to Moncrief and pick up cars. I know 174 or 176 back in the day would do that too. They would do the same thing. Yeah, he's a bit of a train. All right, let's go ahead and we'll stop her here. There we go. Locomotive brake will hold us just fine. We'll just sit right here. Make sure our bottom ain't rolling out on us. I think she's just wiggling around a little bit back there. All right, so yeah, this is 127. So we'll have one more intermodal after this. We'll go ahead and stop this right here. Yeah, we're about 40 minutes into it. We'll stop this right here and we'll pick up with one more to... man, she's bouncing around a lot back there, right? You think you got tank cars on the bottom. Sometimes you see that with tank cars sloshing around, right? Yeah, we'll end this here and then we'll pick up with one more video and we'll finish up the Fitzgerald. Yeah, this is most definitely 127. Surprised. I'm surprised they didn't hold us in the hole. Whereas intermodal, Otto was really generous on that, taking us down to Maine. Really, in real life, they probably would have put us in at Saginaw and made us wait. 127 was a pretty hot train back in the day. I remember I did the assigned job on the other side, and Some of the best trips I ever had were on that train. It was a hot train. I'd say second hottest probably. Got some UPS cut on the bottom here. Yeah, UPS cut. Maybe some Tampas or something. All right, 127 looks good. Marker's hanging. All right, guys, before we get a light out of here, we're going to go ahead and end it. Love all of you. Thank you so much for watching. Really do appreciate each and every one of you. And we'll catch you on the Fitz next time. Peace.